Yo, everybody, Sierra Conver here for you with yet another weekly benchmark video. Let me just... Good to see everybody. Sierra Conver here. I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty better than last week. You know, it's currently day 101, unless I fucked something up. And apparently one of my 100 pictures was not correctly uploaded, which is unlikely because I always check. However, on the flip side, I also did not properly have not been properly uploading as per like with the tags and the video thumbnails and everything else. I've been really falling behind on that. But aside from that, I've been pretty much living. Aside from gaining a lot of weight recently. If you couldn't tell, I've gained a lot of weight. It's just way rounder than it used to be after all. But I'm in good spirits. I gotta watch Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Soul, I think. It's the intermediary uh, movie between Made in Abyss Season 1 and Made in Abyss Season 2. I was thinking maybe I would watch the recap movies for Season 1, but then I thought, nah, I normally don't rewatch, like, next to anything. There's very few series that I've ever rewatched over my entire lifetime. So rewatching a movie that literally tells me the same stuff that has already happened except in movie format is kind of to begin with. So I just decided not to do that. But I watched Dawn of the Soul yesterday, and it was really good. It was really good. I've been watching a lot of good movies recently. I watched the Made in Abyss movie, and then I watched Bodied, I think, like 3 weeks ago or something. And that was really good. Both of them were really good movies. Bodied was kind of like funny, really, more than anything. Dawn of the Soul was really good, though. As per always with the Made in Abyss series, it's a good series, but when I look back at it, I always think that the main creator just always had like some kind of weird fetish. Where like, you know, if you really look into it, you can look past it. Of course. That's why I like this series so much, because I can learn to look past the weird kind of somewhat fetishistic stuff. But I think that's just who he is when it comes down to what he wants to draw. And of course that comes with the territory of like the way he draws his characters as well. It's not blatantly obvious. It's something that you're just like, it's kind of weird that he would include such details for some reason. And then he does. But also it's kind of believable that they would do that. Other than the other way, where I would say that, that's kind of weird. If I ever made a series though, I bet I would have some fetishistic stuff too. I mean, when you dedicate that much time to a series, I guess it just becomes like you want to draw what you want to draw. And I think that's always what it's been like. With most other creators, they just draw what they want to draw, so they'll add in their own little spin, and I think that gives it a kind of flavor that you can't get with other things. And that's what makes Made in Abyss like such a unique experience. It's because it has its own spin, it has its own hyper fixations, and you know that really makes it stand out from the rest of the series in the anime genre. And I feel like it's a good thing to really overstep your bounds and sometimes just go into what you believe is right rather than catering to the mainstream audience. Because honestly, I look at every isekai. I've been reading a lot of isekai recently on YouTube. Basically, it's just recap videos. And I gotta tell you, it's like, it's kind of weird how they're all kind of like the same thing, except not the same thing, but the same premise. Like, it could be an entirely different concept, but the mainstream kind of like isekai, your main character is overpowered as all heck. He can do whatever he wants. There is little to no consequences, if any, and he will next to never face real danger. But when you add on top of that premise like a little spin, like, oh, he can't do this, or oh, he acts this way, it makes all the isekai seem not as the same, even though they are the same. Because in fundamentals, like, oh, the main character will get what he wants, there will be next to no troubles and that kind of stuff. That's what I mean by the same. When it comes down to the art, when it comes down to the deterministic personality of the main character, I feel like it's important to really, you know, feel that kind of your main character. That's why milk toast main characters that don't have much personality are just like, I don't know what they're doing there. Because if you're not attached to the main character, why would you even root for them? If you don't root for the main character, what are you even watching the anime for? To have a Mary Sue fantasy where you are the self-insert? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Just doesn't. Anyhow, Stalwart Envy. I feel like I did pretty good on this one. I added it in the water to make it more kind of like different kind of poses. I've been trying to go for different poses than usual lately. However, it's become more of like both hands down as of late, rather than one hand up, one hand down. That kind of thing. Like how I did with this one. Except it's kind of like this instead of like this, which is what I normally do. This one I didn't really like. I didn't do a good job. I tried doing better on this one, however. Still didn't come back. My weekly gal drawing for last week. Not a lot of people liked it. I liked it. And that's all that matters to me. In the first place, it's probably because she doesn't have, like, deterministic eye. And also, I got really, like, kind of... I got really caught up on a lot of details. The legs are supposed to be pretty thick, and I tried reflecting that. However, legs aren't really something that I put a lot of thought into to begin with, so I got really stuck on the legs, and that resulted in not the best legs, really, not the best. I got really burnt out from that one because I felt like I did such an awful job. So on my Kankole draw, the next day, I did even worse. And guess what? Tomorrow is a Thoughtful Third Thursday, so I'm pretty fucking boned. Inadequate assist. Yeah. It is what it is. And I felt like I did pretty okay. I did pretty okay on this one too. I thought this one was really bad in the midst of drawing it, and then afterwards I looked back at it and it was like, it's not that as bad as I thought it would. It's actually kind of okay. And there's no coloring discoloration. Kind of actually made it. This one, the character design was just kind of, I just kind of followed it. Slow overcomings. I really did try to draw Barton. Slow overcomings well. However, I ran out of time. Same with this one. Like, I was finally 100th draw for the first time in ever. I finally get one line back, and you know what? The Akasepia draw is just fucking awful, dude. I was not there mentally. Not at all. I was so tired yesterday. I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday, but I just kept doing stuff to buy time so that I wouldn't have to draw, and then I was forced to draw in the last moment. And that's basically what happened here, and that's what's gonna happen tonight as well. I'm gonna be forced to draw in the last 3 hours. last 2 hours for a gal draw, and it won't come out that great. However, I've already, I've already prepared myself for that. And I really don't think it's more like, oh, you didn't do well. I think it's more like, oh, you survived. And by the 11:56 and the 11:59 turn in on the other places, I did make it. Just barely, however, I made it. And at the end of the day, I think that's really all that matters. So, yeah, basically. I don't really have much else to say other than I made it, and as a result, I'm there. I'm on the 101st day. I finally made back a single line. And that's a win for sanity, unless I'm proven otherwise, which I may be in the future. But until then, I'll be living. So anyhow, this has been Sir Comber here for you with yet another weekly benchmark video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't get much of those lately. It's fun. So anyhow, remember all that if you want. And until next time or something, I'll see you all later. Thanks so much. Bye.